Hello, this is Ricky, and here is a real quick and easy way to make a cookie cutter using Tinkercad. So when you go to tinkercad.com, click Sign In, and we're going to click the button that says More Sign-In Options, and we're going to sign in with Microsoft. All right, once we sign in with Microsoft, we're going to click the button that says Create New Design. And then up here, it's going to give it a name, but you can click it, and you can just say Cookie Cutter. So I'm going to show you a real quick and easy way to make a cookie cutter using the shapes provided with Tinkercad. So let's just start with a heart and then a star. So starting with the heart first, all we need to do is make the heart about as big as a cookie. So cookie's about 3 inches. Tinkercad uses millimeters, so 3 inches in millimeters is about 75. So I'm just going to scale it up to about 72.96. Now, one thing that I think that's going to make life a lot easier is I'm going to click that, and I'm just going to go ahead and round that to 73, just so all of our numbers are nice and good. That's 67.04, so I am going to round it to just 67. Now, the next step is we are going to duplicate this 3 different times. So I'm going to click this button right here, which says duplicate, and then I'm going to just drag it over, and then I'm going to click the duplicate button again, and then that way I have all 3 of mine. So the steps are, this shape right here is going to be the cutout. So I'm going to click this one to turn it into a hole, and then I'm going to shrink it a little bit. Since we were at 73 and 67, I'm going to shrink it like 3 millimeters. So instead of being 72.96, it is going to be 70. And in this one, instead of being 67, I'm going to shrink it down to 64. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lift this up 2 millimeters. So when I select it again, this little teardrop shape, it is how I can make it go up or down. And so where 0 is even with the work surface, but I'm going to move it up 2 millimeters, and then I'm done with that shape. Now this shape, I want to be the base, so I want it to be a little bit bigger. So again, instead of being 67, I'm going to raise it up maybe 5 millimeters. So now this one will be 72. And instead of being 73, I'm going to raise it up 5, so this one will be 78. And I am going to not use this one, but I'm going to use this one to adjust the height of it, so it will only be 2 millimeters tall. Now, the last step is I am going to combine all 3 of these to make the cookie cutter. So I can select all 3, and up here at the right, there is an align tool, which is going to make this really easy. I'm going to click this middle one to align them up vertically, I guess, and then, or horizontally, and then this one lines it up vertically, so they're all perfectly centered. And when I click this group one, it is going to combine all of them, and then you see I have a cookie cutter in the shape of a heart. So I'm going to scoot this over and kind of go over the steps again, just so we're all on the same page. Some shapes do better than others. So I'm going to take the star, and the first thing that you want to do is make it about as big as your cookie cutter is going to be. And I'm going to stop about in the 70s. I'm going to round this up to 70 just so my numbers are nice and even. After that, I'm going to duplicate it twice. So I'm going to select it and click the duplicate button once, and then the duplicate button again. This middle one, I'm going to turn it into a hole. and I'm going to shrink it like 3 millimeters. So instead of being 73 over here, it's just going to be 70. And instead of being 70 down here, it's going to be 67. And then I'm going to lift it off of the build service by 2 millimeters. So I'm going to click this teardrop and lift it up 2 millimeters. This one is going to be my base, so I'm going to make it a little bit larger, and I'm going to enlarge it by 5. So this is going to be 78 millimeters, and this one's going to be 75 millimeters. And I'm going to flatten it by selecting the middle one, so it's going to only be 2 millimeters tall. Then I select all three. I click the Align tool and align them this way and align them that way. And then the last step is selected. I'm going to click this button to group them together, and I have my second cookie cutter. So I hope this helps. This is an easy way that you can use Tinkercad to make simple cookie cutters.